You probably don't think much about your car seats, do you? I mean, beyond whether it's leather or cloth. But what if I told you there's a hidden world of high-stakes technology in every single stitch, and a tiny mistake, one that's smaller than the thickness of a credit card, can be a $10,000 problem?
We've all been there, right? You jump in the car, and that seat just feels off. One side is pulled super tight, the other's all wrinkled. It just feels wrong. But that feeling isn't what you think it is.
Now, you might chalk that up to a sloppy job on the assembly line, or maybe just think, hey, it's a cheap car. But the truth? The fate of that seat, how comfortable it is, how safe it is, its entire vibe, was decided long before a single thread was ever sewn. Yeah, this isn't about some person having a bad day. It's about a crazy precise, automated process that happens at the very beginning, before a human ever even touches the fabric. So, let's pull back the curtain.
Here's the plan. We're going to uncover the seat's biggest secret. Then, we'll see how car makers play a high-stakes game of Tetris to save millions. We'll look at the actual tools they use, pit two titans, Tesla and Mercedes, against each other, and then I'll give you a super simple cheat sheet you can use the next time you're in a showroom.
So, what is this big secret? Well, it all comes down to the very first step in making that seat cover, the cut. Everything, and I mean everything, depends on how perfectly those first pieces of fabric or leather are sliced by what's basically a digital scissors.
The industry calls this the automated cutting process, and it's their secret weapon. Seriously, forget about some old-school tailor with chalk and a pair of scissors. You need to be thinking more like a surgical robot that takes a digital blueprint and cuts it out with microscopic accuracy, turning a giant roll of material into perfect puzzle pieces, all guided by an AI brain.
Okay, so let's get to the part that matters to you, your money and your comfort. Because in this game, a tiny half-millimeter mistake isn't just a small flaw. It's a fortune getting tossed right in the trash.
Here's the deal. The material for your car seats, especially the good stuff like real leather, is ridiculously expensive. So for car makers, the #1 goal is to waste as little as possible. They're basically playing the world's most expensive game of Tetris, using AI to figure out how to cram every single pattern piece onto one roll of fabric with almost zero leftover scraps.
And this is where it gets wild. Just look at the difference. A really skilled person cutting by hand might, on a good day, use about 75% of a roll of fabric. But an AI-powered system, it can push that number over 90%. That 15% difference isn't just a small step up, it's a total game changer for the industry.
So what does that 15% gap actually mean in real money? For a factory making, say, 100,000 cars a year, just a 5% increase in how much material they use saves them over $2 million annually. That is serious cash, and you better believe it affects the final price you pay for the car.
But listen, this is about way more than just saving the factory a few bucks. That precision has a direct impact on you. We're talking 0.1 millimeter accuracy. That means the seat cover fits the foam underneath it like a glove. No weird bunches, no tight spots pulling at you. And here's the crucial part, safety. For seats that have side airbags, there are special tear zones that absolutely must be cut perfectly. If they're off by even a tiny bit, the airbag might not deploy correctly in a crash. Yeah, it's that serious.
All right, let's dive a little deeper into how this cutting actually happens, because the tech they use makes a huge difference. There are a few key players in this game, and each one has its own pros and cons. The two most common methods you'll see are the vibration knife and the laser cutter. Think of the vibration knife as the reliable workhorse. It's fast, it's clean, and it works on pretty much anything. Its only real downside is that the blades wear out over time. The laser cutter, on the other hand, is like a surgical specialist, unbelievably precise and super fast, but it has a fatal flaw. That intense heat actually burns and hardens the edges of real leather, making it totally useless for premium seats.
So when you look at the whole lineup, you see there's no single best tool. Cutting by hand is just too slow and inconsistent. The vibration knife is your go-to all-rounder. Laser is the king for synthetic stuff, but it's a definite no for real leather. And then you have ultrasonic cutting, which is pricey but fantastic for high-end leather because it cuts clean without any heat damage. It's all about using the right tool for the right material.
And this right here is a huge myth buster. You might see a car company bragging about their advanced laser-cut seats. But if they're talking about real Napa leather, that's a massive red flag. Using the wrong tech for the material is a recipe for a crappy, uncomfortable, and potentially unsafe seat.
Now, to see how these choices really play out, let's look at two brands with totally different ways of thinking. Tesla and Mercedes-Benz.
They both use this automated cutting process, but they're aiming for completely different results.
Tesla's approach is pure efficiency. Their seats have this minimalist design made from just 9 pattern pieces. That simplicity lets them get a staggering 89% material utilization, and they can cut an entire seat cover in less than 3 minutes. It is the gospel of efficiency, all about speed and saving costs.
And then you have Mercedes-Benz. Their S-Class seat cover is like a piece of art, made from 27 different pieces. They use a mix of human quality control alongside AI-guided ultrasonic cutting, and the result, it takes them over 4 hours to make one seat. For them, it is not about speed. It is about hitting the absolute peak of craftsmanship and luxury feel.
Okay, so you're now basically an expert in automated cutting. How do you actually use this knowledge? Let's boil it all down into a super practical cheat sheet you can use to judge a car's quality without any tools, right there in the showroom. Here are the 3 main things to burn into your brain. Number 1, precision cutting isn't a luxury feature, it's the absolute foundation of a quality seat. Number 2, don't get fooled by marketing hype about the best technology. The right tech is all about the material being used. And 3, the whole point of all this complicated tech is to create a seat that feels simple and perfectly seamless. So here it is, the one test you can do yourself. The next time you're checking out a car, I want you to do this. Sit down, close your eyes, and just run your hand along the seams of the seat, especially where different panels meet up. And ask yourself this one question. Does it feel like one smooth, continuous surface? Or can you feel little bumps, ridges, and places where things don't line up? A premium precision cut seat will feel almost like one solid piece. A poorly cut one will give itself away instantly.
And at the end of the day, that's the whole point of all this amazing hidden technology. It's not about showing off fancy robots or smart AI. It's about making the tech so good, so perfect, that it just disappears, leaving you with only one thing: the tangible, undeniable experience of sitting in a perfectly made, comfortable, and safe car seat.